Good afternoon. Last session, we understood how to create a line server. Created a Linux server. So whenever we create a server, initially it would be in training state and it goes to running. Once the status check is 2 by 2, that means, so let me show you. If I select my instance, so see, from pending state it goes to running. Once it goes to running, it starts initializing the status check. If you check on with the monitoring, okay, no, okay. You have the status and alarm. So this is the system status check and how the system is running, whether it was working fine or not. When the instance status check, it is from the connection, the establishment of connection from our end to the system. Whether both of them are perfect or not. If they are not, then we might not be able to get connected to the server. That was one of the problems that we might face rarely. And now we have our Linux server up and running. So let me get connected. So basically, I have discussed that we have a port number 22, which is the name of the port is SSS, that lets us get communicated with the help of Linux server. So if I have a Windows server, Windows connectivity with any remote desktop happens with the help of a port 3389, whereas Linux, the communication happens with the help of port number 22. Let's say I have multiple servers available, and each and every server have a various flavors of Linux. One is using Ubuntu, one is using Debian, other one is using SUSE Linux, and one I'm using Amazon Linux. So if I want to make connection established with any of the flavors of Linux, port number 22 is required to be open for me to get connected with that particular server. Understood? So that is port number 22. The name of the port is SSH, Secured Shell. Secured Shell is the name of the port with which we can communicate. So all the traffic happens, transmission of data happens with the port 22. Right? So whenever I log in into my server, the basic thing that shows us is the command prompt. Okay, in this prompt, the initial figure that is shown is the username, and the other part is the private IP address of our system. So whenever I log in into any server, like let's say in our current scenario, we have created a server on AWS Cloud. Okay, so the physical server is not located over here in our premises, it is located at a distant location. So if I want to get connected to that server, I do require something called public IP address. So any communication which is away from our network can be done only with the help of public IP address. So By default, whenever we create any server on AWS cloud, Azure cloud, or GCP cloud, by default, we assign something called public IP address to that server. Because that server is not available in our location, it is located some data center wherever we are working. Right now, in my current scenario, I am working on North Virginia region. In this North Virginia region, they have got 6 availability zones. That means 6 different data centers available over there. Out of one of the region, I am using that service to create a server. So I can get communicated with that particular server only with the help of port number 22. Clear? And to get connected, I do require the public IP of that server. This is the public IP of the server that I have created. And how is this data transaction happens? From my laptop, I get connected to my router. So my router is already having a public IP assigned by the ISP providers. Let's say it is being taken by Hathway will provide a public IP address. If it is Jio will provide a public IP address. So with that public IP address, I get communicated with the public IP address that is available over there. If I scroll down and do it, okay, it is not showing. Okay, I will be getting connected to this public IP address. Once I log into that particular server, it will be shown only the private IP address. If you check on with this 172.31.55.182, that means I have logged into the server. That is the private IP of the system. So, okay, 1 second. I'm very sorry. I don't think I have shared my screen. Sorry, I haven't checked the chat. Okay. If you face any issues, please try to unmute yourself and speak out. You have the permission to unmute yourself at any time. Prem Kumar, at any point of time, if you face any issues, you can please unmute yourself and speak out. Sometimes while we are in the flow, we might be missing the chat. Okay. So right now, what I have discussed is once we log into the Linux server, okay, it would be shown as the username would be shown at the present, and then the private IP address of the system. And then there is some other symbol which is we call the symbol as tilde. This tilde symbol in your keyboard or left side to your number 1, you will be having this symbol. You need to use shift and that letter to get it. And this symbol indicates the home directory of this particular current user. So right now EC2-user is the current user. So this tilde indicates the home directory of this particular user, EC2-user. So what is home directory? Does anyone have any idea about what is home directory? No. So what happens here is not only in Windows or Linux, any operating system you take it, we'll be having users, right? Each and every user will have their own home directory created. So whatever transactions they do, whatever files they create, whatever files they want to operate, everything happens in their home directory only. Later, you will go ahead with the other drives and all the things. Basic things are there. They have their own home directory. Let's say if you choose Windows as an example, okay, Windows. When we try to log into Windows, we try login with our username and password. So whatever may be the username it is, they have their own home directory created. And in Windows, a home directory is created inside C directory, where you have something called users. Inside this users, you have a directory exclusively for that particular user. Right now, my username is THUMM, and this is the directory that is created for me. Let's say right now I have been logged in with THUMM, so I have all these files on my desktop. This desktop path also is a part of my home directory. I will show you that. Let me go into tool. In here, I have got desktop. If I click on desktop, I will be able to see all the desktop files and directories that are available on my desktop. Similarly, there will be another directory for another user. Let's say in the current laptop, I have another username by name Shalini. If I open that directory, Shalini also is having desktop and all downloads and all the files, documents and all. Everything that are relevant to that particular path are there inside her directory only. See here, if I go into Shalini's desktop, I have only 4 files. So whoever is the user who is using, his details are there in his directory. So this is the home directory. See, if I want to see the path where I am right now, if I click on over here, it will see me under users. C drive is the initial directory. Under C drive, users is the directory. Under this, Shalini is the subdirectory. Inside Shalini, I have got multiple directories. Right? The same thing, but over here, what happens is the file system starts with C drive in Windows. Okay. So similarly, we have a file system in Linux also, where the file system starts from root, and the file system is defined by /. There we have C drive, right? Here it is only / is the location where your file system starts. So to know where I am right now, okay, in Windows I have already shown you. If you click on the address bar, it will show you the current path. Let's say I am in downloads. So if I click on my address bar, it will show me the full path, but it is not showing this since it is a shortcut that is happening. Okay, let's say I have been into Terraform. If I click over here, see under C drive, Terraform is a folder in which I am right now. Similarly, I need to know the current path where I am right now. We do it with the help of a command called pwd, print working directory or present working directory. Some say print working directory, some say present working directory. Both are one and the same. And the present working directory is /home/ec2-user. So in Windows, the root system file system started from C drive. Here it is starting from root. We call this as / as root. Okay. If I want to go to that particular path, okay, I want to go one directory behind. I use a command called change directory space double dot to change directory one directory behind. If I want to change forward, I need to create a new directory and go into that particular directory. I use cd to change directory. Okay, let's see first. This is my home directory. Remember one thing, this is the home directory for ec2-user. This is the username is ec2-user and his home directory is also the same name. Like I shown in Windows, Shalini is the username. She has got a directory by name Shalini. Right? The same thing over here. ec2-user will have a home directory which is ec2-user, but there the home directory is there inside the users folder. Here we have the home directory available inside home. There is a directory by name home in our root. In that directory, we will have the directory for concerned user. Understood, Elia? Fine. So to create a new directory, I use a command called mkdir make directory space whatever the name we want to provide to the directory. What's your name? Avinash. So I'm creating a directory by name Avinash. To see the list of files that are available in this particular directory right now, where I'm in /home/ec2-user. So to see the list of files in this particular ec2-user directory, I use a command called ls. ls means list. So it is showing Avinash only. I don't know whether it is a directory or a file. So how do we identify whether it is a directory or file? So you have some extension. With the help of extension, we'll be able to see that. But the beauty with Linux is we can create files even without extension also, because Linux kernel understands what was the content that is there inside that particular file. So we'll be able to open files or we'll be able to execute things in any specific file even without extension also. In Windows, it will warn you to create a file without any extension, but here it is possible in Linux, right? And one more thing, Linux is case sensitive, right? So whatever commands you execute or whenever you are defining any specific folder name or directory name, you need to be precise about what you are typing. Let's say right now we have a directory by name Avinash. I know that it is a directory. I will tell you how we do see that. Okay. In today's class, we'll be discussing about the file permissions, how we define these permissions and all. I'll be discussing them in a few minutes. Okay. Now this is a directory or what? I know I have created a directory because I use the command mkdir. Make directory is the command name. Make directory followed by the file, the directory name. helps me to create a directory. Now I want to change into that directory. So I use a command cd change directory followed by the directory name. I am using Avinash. Observe here, it will not permit me. It will say that Avinash, there is no such a file or directory because I have used capital A before. While creating the resource, I have used small a. So it tries to check on with the exact pattern that is available. And since it is not there, it will show it is not available. So that's the reason why I said Linux is case sensitive, right? CD. So I have changed into the directory. What is my current location? Right now I'm a /home/cd user, inside which Avinash is the directory I'm right now. Understood here? Fine. So let me go back. Let's Avinash, right? We have, see, I want to know more details about this particular directory. What are the permissions that are available? What is the file size? When it is been created? All those things I want to know. How do we know that? We have a flag which is used along with ls list command, and the flag is -l. Together we call it as long list. In Windows, what we do, let's say I want to see, okay, I have something documents up in here. I want to see the file size and all the things. I'll be able to see it like this. But okay, let's say I'm using like this. Will I be able to see which file or what directory contains how much of space or anything? I'll not be able to see that, right? So if I want to see that, I will have to go view by details. Then I will be able to see whether it is a directory or a file and how much it has been occupying and when it has been created and all the things. Similarly, we have the same resource in terms of Linux and we use ls-l long list. There is a shortcut for this and the shortcut is ll. For this we have a shortcut, it is L long list. So what is it showing? Okay, before checking on with this, I want to tell you one more command, which is touch. Touch is a command that helps us to create empty files. In Windows, what we do, we can right click and create a new notepad and all. It will create a file, right? The same thing here, we use the command touch, followed by file name. Let's say I'm typing a file, touch file, or file one. Let's say file one. If I press enter, it will create one file. Okay. ls, I have file one and I have Avinash. Both doesn't have an extension. But the color indication is there. This color indicates that it is a directory and this is not a directory. But don't depend upon that. Because whenever we are working with certain resources, okay, the servers and all, they might not have the color interface. Then what would you do? How do you understand whether it is a file or directory? There is a question mark, right? So just wait for one more second. So we have the touch command to create multiple files also. So we define that with some space. So let's say I want to create file 2, file 3, and file 4. Multiple files together. I can do it with the help of touch. ls, see I have got the files. Okay, I'm using long list ls-l or ll. So it is showing it like this. In here, we have some definition defined up in here like drwx, r-x, r-x and something. These were the permissions defined for that particular file or directory. Okay, in which the first letter, which is D, indicates it as if it was a directory. Hyphen indicates that it is a file. It is dash, that means it is a file. Sometimes we might have some configuration files and those would be defined by C. Sometimes we have something called L, which indicates symbolic link. Symbolic link, in layman words, you can consider shortcut. When we create anything shortcut on your desktop, let's say I have an application. For that application, once I install, a shortcut is created on our desktop, right? So, so if I click on that shortcut, I'll be able to go to that particular directory and we'll be able to execute it. The same way, we create something called symbolic link in Linux, and that would be defined with L. And that would be the first position. So the total digits would be 10 digits. And this 10 digits is divided into 4 parts. First digit is 1 part. Next 3 digits is 1 part. Next 3 digits is 1 part. And next 3 digits is 1 part. Let's say, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 digits. In this example, for Avinash, what is there? DRWX, DRWX, R dash X R X. This is how it is being represented. And the first value defines whether it is a directory or a file. If it is defined with a D, directory. If it is defined with L, it is symbolic link. If it is C or some other special character files would be there. Okay. So the first part is over. The next parts where this is the first part. So the next parts are divided into 3 digits each. These 3-digit parts indicates the permissions to the particular file. Permissions that are defined to those files. We'll come to that in a while. And then let's say if this particular directory is being referred, how many times it is being referred is shown up in here. And then we have something called EC2-user. This is the username who created this particular directory. Owner. Other words, we can say as owner. This is the user group. The permissions defined to user group. This particular owner is there. And then the file size. Basically, it shows in bits. We need to get it converted. Okay, it shows in bytes. Okay, and then date, month, date, and time on which this particular resource is being created. Date, month, and time. If you check on with this, it would be showing August 23 and the time is 8:59. Is this correct? Is the time is 8:59? It provides the information about the universal time, the standard time. So if I want a conversion to Indian time, we need to add 5 hours 30 minutes to it. Then you will be able to get the current time. So 8 plus 5, 13, that means 1 hour. Again 59 plus 30. So the next hour, which is 2:39, is the time when it has been created. Right now the time is 2:41. Understood? The time, it shows the current time. Let's say if the resource is being created, file or the directory is created a year back or different year, then instead of time, it would show the year in which it is being created. And this is the either file name or directory name. So since the first letter is D, Avinash is a directory, first letter is a hyphen, then the remaining are files. You understood here? So here we have got ownership, username, and user group available up in here. Yes or no? Clear? Very good. Now, like I said, we have the permissions defined for this file in various parts. 3 different parts, 1, 2, and 3. Each part contains 3 different permissions. 3 parts, and each and every part contains 3 different permissions. And the permissions are same to everything. So what are the maximum permissions that you can give to any file or directory in your any operating system? 3 permissions. One is read access, second one is write access, and the third one is execute access. Whatever may be the file that is there in your laptop, whether it is a movie file, whether it is some audio, or whether it is any text file, you will have only 3 permissions. One is to read it, one is to write into it, and the other one is to execute. If it is exe file, we execute to install the application. Right? If it is a movie player, movie file, then we use some other executable file to watch the movie. Right? If we have read access, then only we'll be able to access it. If we have write access, then we can modify that. Am I right? These are the 3 permissions: read, write, and execute. Fine. So how do you define these 3 access? Okay, and merge it. These 3 parts were defined by the user's permissions. So the user or the owner who created this particular file, he has got read permission, write permission, execute permission for the file or directory that is available. First, consider the example of a file. So I have a file which is file 1. If you consider this file 1, the initial 3 permissions are for the user. Right now, the user is EC2-user. This user is having read permission and write permission only. He is not having executable permission. If it is a directory, they have got executable permission also. And what is that executable permission? To open the directory, we need to have executable permission. If it is a file, then we need to have either read, write, or execute. Understood? To open a directory, we need to have executable permission. So that's the reason why the last. And the places where we are defining these permissions are always standard. If you want to give permission, then you need to write the letter. If you don't give the permission, then you need to keep hyphen. So prefixed values. Read, write, execute is the same format. First would be the read value. If you give read access, you will have read there. If you give write access, you will have write there. If you give executable access, you will have execute. And first permission is for the user. Second permission are defined for user group. So the group in which the user is primarily allocated, or the primary group of that particular user is referred over here. For the, if any other people are there inside the user group, they will have read access and execute access, but no write access. So I will come in a while. I mean, maybe in tomorrow's class, I will discuss about users and user groups. Okay, if not, we'll do that today itself. Okay, user group, and then others. No matter whoever the user is, who is available inside the system, whether he might be in the same group, whether he might not be. See, he might, if he is in the same group, these rules are applicable. If he is not in that particular group, or if he is not the owner, then whatever rules that you give up in here are applicable. So your good name, Nusrat. Okay, fine. Let's say I create a user by name Kumar. Right? I thought of writing your name. It's a little bit difficult, sorry. Okay. So let me name. Kumar is a user that is been created. And Kumar created some files. Right? Basically, if the file is in his home directory, only Kumar will have access. Others will not have access. That was a regular convention. Right? So whenever a Kumar user is being created, a user group by name Kumar also is created. User group by name Kumar also created. Right? You understood this. Okay. Now I have a directory dir1 which is created by, let's say, some admin. Admin created the file. Admin is a part of DevOps group. Admin's primary group is DevOps group. Okay. Okay, let us write it up in here. File is being created by admin. Admin is a part of DevOps group, and others are others. So let's say I have the file 100. So this file 100 can be read by admin. He can read it, write it, and execute it. Right? So admin basically belongs to DevOps group. So anyone who is in DevOps group, let's say Kumar is also a part of DevOps group. Later we will see how to change groups and all. Don't worry. Just understand the concept. Now Kumar is another member inside the DevOps group. So what are all the permissions that Kumar will have on this file? Kumar can read the file and execute it, but he cannot make modifications to the file. You got the point? Let's say I have another name which is Raj. Okay, Raj is a part of Raj group, only his home directory, or else Raj is a part of FST group. So what permissions does Raj have? Let's say I do not have any permissions. Or else let us give right permissions. So what are the permissions does Raj have? He is not the owner, so he will not get these permissions. He doesn't belong to the owners group, so these permissions also will not be applicable. So whatever may be the others, whoever may be others, will have only the others permissions that is being defined over here. The others permission is only read permission. Understood? So others I have kept it as blank, and these blanks we don't keep blanks over there. In database it shows as dash dash. In our Linux commands it is referred to as dash dash. Understood now? So this is how the permissions are available, and that is how we see with the help of long list. Right? Next comes the question how to change these permissions. I'll be discussing them later. Today we'll discuss something more. Next part is what are users, what are user groups, right? How are they related? In Linux, we have got three different kinds of users. Three kinds of users. The first one is root user. Remember the words carefully. First one is root user. Root user is a king. He can do anything inside the system. In Windows, we have administrator, right? He can do anything. He can crash the system. He can totally delete the whole resource also. Same permissions are having by root user in Linux. Second kind of users are the system users. So whenever we are executing any services, by default, there will be a system user created internally, and that system user will execute the job that is assigned. Let's say I want to create a timer to shut down my laptop. For that, there is a system user internally defined, and whenever I use exit or any other specific command to the shutdown, okay, that particular user executes the task. That's true. These users are called system users. They are internally defined, and the system uses them for executing certain tasks. The third kind of users are the general users that the root user creates. So whoever the user that root user creates, those would be the general users. These are the three different kinds: root user, system user, and general users. Right? How do we see these users? Right? So we have a command called user, which users. So right now I have only EC2-user that is currently logged in. It would be showing the current logged in. Whoever user is there, it would show you. But we have a file in our directory, Linux file system. Okay, inside XC we have something called PASSWD password. There is a file by name password, and this password file contains the information about the list of users that are inside our system. But I haven't gone to there. Just give me 2 minutes, we'll go there. So we have checked CD to change directory to the forward way. I want to go one directory behind. Where am I right now? I am in EC2 home/home/EC2. I want to go one directory behind. So what is the command that I use? First, let me see. We have a command called cd space dot. Here dot represents the current working directory. Where I am, whatever directory I am is represented by dot. Let's say change directory to dot. Let me see. There is no change. That means I am in my current directory. I do not go anywhere else. Let's say I use cd space dot dot. Change directory to previous directory. One directory behind. See here. After EC2 hyphen, after home, there is multiple directories are there. So right now I have only one user, so only one directory is available up in here. Yes or no? So whoever may be the directory that is, I have gone one directory behind. If I want to go one more directory behind, let's see what happens. cd dot dot is to go to previous directory. Unless right now I have got multiples of directories in which home directory is a part. Again, I use cd dot dot ls. Right now, I'm in the same location. PWD, I'm in the root. Again, I try to go back. I'll be still there only in the root. So, the file system in Linux starts from root. Understood? In Windows, it is C drive. Similarly, in Linux, it is root. Any flavor of Linux. Remember, most of the things work in the same way. Only a few commands might change with various flavors of Linux. Clear till here? So it has got certain files, and these files are bin, which contains binary files, boot, files that are relevant to our boot up of your system, dev, developers, whatever the devices that are being connected would be available inside dev. Extra text configuration etc contains all the configuration, system configuration files available over there. Home is the home directory where the directories of individual users will be available. Lib and library 24 are libraries. Local, in the local system, if I have any media, it would be available in media directory. Mount, whenever I add any additional storage, let's say I have added some pen drive, what happens? New directory gets created for us. Here it gets in the mount, right? We have certain others, run system, run devices, and we have something called temp. Temp contains the temporary files. So I forgot to say one more thing. Any regular user will have access to their own home directory, right? He doesn't have access to other users' home directory unless and until we define it. Okay. The other path that any user can have access is temporary directory. In this directory, any user can create any file or directory, anything can be done. but the resources that are available inside temporary directory will last only for few days. Right? User related differentiation, and where contains the information about the variable data such as logs, system logs, and other things are available up in here inside the where. Right? So out of this, we have a directory by name xc. Let me go into the directory cd etc. It contains the configuration file, system configuration details, like I said, ls. See, these are all the various system files in which I want to show you a file which is password passwd is the file, and this file contains all the information about the list of users that are available inside the system and what are the accesses they do have will be shown in this particular file. To see the information in any file, we use a command called cat. Cat command helps us to see the files, see the content inside any file. So cat password, press enter. Now over here, like I said, do you remember first I said we have the first user to be the root user, who is a super user, like admin in Windows. So he is the first user whose user ID is 0. He is a part of root directory, root group. You remember one when I said whenever you create, okay, I did not say that, okay. Whenever we create any user, four things happen. First thing, his name is written inside this particular file. Second thing, user gets created. Third thing, a home directory for the user is created. Fourth thing, a user group with the same name is created. What are the four things? Name will be written inside the password file, right? Then, sorry, five things actually. First thing is name will be written inside the password file. Second thing, creates a user. Third one, a home directory for the user gets created. Fourth thing, a user group with the same name of user gets created. Fifth one, the user group that is created, right? This user group name is written inside a file which is group. Understood? Five different operations, right? Let us see one by one. So to create, okay, first we'll create a user and then see how it is happening. Okay, before which we are already inside the file, right? Password. See, this password contains root. So this root will be executed over the /bin/bash. That means operating system binaries of the system in which we are working with CLI interface, and this is done with the help of bash command. So the name is /bin/bash. Everyone will have, most of the resources will have /bin/bash, and that is for the users will be there, regular users or the root users. The other resources that are available, other users over here, admin, bin, daemon, systemd, and all these users. Are the system users that are pre-acquired for a specific task. Let's say if I want to shut down the shutdown, we have a user to execute that particular task. Understood? And user, general purpose users that are been created by the root user. By default, whenever we create any Linux server on cloud, we get a user created. That user in AWS is EC2-user. Under Amazon Linux, it is EC2-user. If it was a Ubuntu server, we have a user by name user. Ubuntu. The name of the user is Ubuntu. Understood? So let us see by creating a user and see how things are happening. So for that, the command is user add followed by the username. So let's say Anil. I'm creating a user by name Anil. User add Anil. Okay, it is not permitting me to do it because users can be created only by the root user. To switch from my regular user to root user, I use a command called sudo or sudo space -i is the command that we use to convert from regular user to root user. See here, the username previously is EC2-user, now it has been changed to root. When we see about the list of files, we have something called root. This is the home directory for the root user. Home directory for the root is the home directory for root user. Okay, for this, if I see print working directory, I am in /root. This is the home directory, which is referred with the help of tilde. Clear? Now I have created it. Now I am going to create a user by name Anil. User add Anil. It is created. So if you did not say anything and the prompt goes to your cursor goes to the next prompt, then that means the resource has been successful. If there are any issues, then it will show you some warnings or errors. Clear? Next, I want to set a password to this particular user. We require username and password also, right? So the command is passwd followed by the username. Press enter, it will ask me for providing a new password. I defined some password, but it will not move the cursor. Cursor will be there only. Remember that whenever it is for the privacy, to make sure that whatever the password that we use is not visible to anyone, and how many letters we are typing in is not visible. Again, it asks me for password. So I have created a password. Like what did I say? When a user is created, user gets created. First point. Second thing, his name should be written inside the password file, right? So let me go to cd/. Over here, one more beauty is with almost all the CLIs. If we want to move to a fixed path, if I know the full path of the file, then I can go there directly using cd. Using ls, I can see list of files that are there in that particular directory. Everything is possible. So cd space root. Under root, which directory? I have a directory by name xc where I have the password file, right? So I have gone into the directory ls. So cat passwd. See here, EC2-user is the user whose ID is 1000, group ID is 1000. He is a part of EC2-user only, right? And he has his home directory is /home/EC2-user, and he has access to /bin/bash. Now I have created a new user by name Anil. See, Anil name is created. His ID is 1001. Previously it was 1000. From here the regular user's ID starts. Second, next 1001 is the ID of the group in which Anil is being created. So what was that group name? The same name of the user. /home/Anil is being created and he has /bin/bash. So let me go back cd cd home is a home directory. Okay, before going here, now we have seen user created, user name is written inside the password file. Next thing, user group gets created, right? Cat groups. It is not there. I need to go into xc folder. Okay, then I need to execute cat groups. See here, okay, not groups, it is group. See, a group has been created for Anil and the group ID is 1001. Right? Anil is a part of Anil group. So group is also created. What else is left? We need to see whether the home directory for Anil is created or not. cd space dot ls. I have a directory home, cd home, ls. See, I have a directory by name Anil is being created. I said one thing, do you remember? Anil user will have his own home directory and he cannot access other users' home directory. Am I right? Let us check it. Now I have another user, EC2-user directory over here. Let me try to go to that user. cd-EC2-user. It has gained access over here because right now I am root user. Root user will have permission to access the whole system. Only root user will have access. If I log in with Anil user, then it will not permit me to go to wherever I want. To come out of the root user, I need to use exit. Okay. Only EC2-user will have access to other locations. cd space /home. Another full path. ls. Now I have two directories, Anil and EC2-user. Now I am EC2-user. Let me try to access Anil's directly. cd. See, permission denied. This particular user is not having permission to access over there. ls -l. See here, it is a directory. This is also a directory. This directory is having permissions only for Anil. Read, write, and execute. For others, no permissions at all. Similarly, EC2-user is also having access only to EC2-user who is having read, write, execute access. Others from EC2-user group also are not having any permissions.
Earlier it got permissions for other groups.
Earlier, no, that is for the directory that we created. So this is the home directory of that particular user. Okay, let me go into EC. Right now I am EC2-user only. cd EC2-user ls. Now I have the files and directories, right? ls-hel. Then I have permissions over here. Understood.
When we are creating instance, right, we got that EC2-user name. But he should be admin and he can create the users, right?
Even that is being created, but he is having admin privileges, but he is not admin. Root is always the admin.
Again, we need to go back to root and we need to create users.
Yes. If I want EC2-user also to create users, we can do that, but we need to define a command sudo in front of the command. Right now I'm EC2-user, so type in sudo user add. Let me add Avinash. Can be done because this EC2-user is a part of root group. We have something called sudo file. So if our name is there inside that sudo file, then we can use this sudo in front of us. If not, we will not be able to use that. Okay. We end the session up in here. I have another session right now. Okay. Fine. Any doubts still here? Today we understood about file permissions. We haven't worked on changing permissions and all, but we understood what are the file permissions, how file permissions exist, and how we have users and how to create user, and how what are all the details about user, user group, and others. Clear?
You mentioned 3 types of users, right?
3 different users: root user, which is a super user; system users that are being used by various applications that are being installed. The other one is general users that the root user creates. Understood? Okay then. Thank you very much for joining the session. Have a great day.